Freitag and Chanukah. So Baruch Hashem, this week we completed the first Sichah, or I should say the second Sichah project with the Sichos, and we also concluded the Maimer of Taran Rabbanan in Likkutei Sichos. This Sichah is printed in Chelik Tes Vav. It's part of the project with the Sichos. The first Sichah, page 359. Page Aleph. In Pasuk Vayemer Elov Chalila La'avadecha Ma'asis Dover Kadover Azeh. The Pasuk that says, when the brothers, Yosef accused the brothers of stealing the goblet, so they said to him, Chalila, for your servants to do such a thing. That's the expression they use. Chalila La'avadecha Ma'asis Dover Hazeh. Now, Zog Rashi, Tzvei Pirushim Eftiverte Chalila La'avadecha. Rashi says two explanations for the words Chalila for your servants. What do they mean by saying Chalila? So Rashi says either chulin hu, it's an expression of chulin, lashon ganai. Either it's an expression of a disgrace. So chalila la'avadecha masis kadavar zeh. It's a disgrace for your servants to do such a thing. Or the Targum, or he says the Targum says, Targum Mukla says, chas la'avadecha, chas meis hakadosh baruch hu yaleinu masis zois. V'harbi yesh b'gemara chas v'shalim. Now the Targum says that chas comes from the lashon of like chas v'shalim, pity to your servants, meaning may Hashem pity us and spare us from doing this. Rashi says there are many examples of the word chas in the Gemara. Chas v'shalim literally means peace, pity and peace, meaning God forbid. So again, either Rashi says that chalila means lashon chulin, it's like it's a disgrace for us to do that, or an expression of like pity on us. Pity on you, yeah. May Hashem pity us and spare us from doing this. Okay, now the Rebbe says like this: Frier in Parshas Vayera, by the time of Avram and Eibishter, ha'af tis betzadigim Rasha, steht auf der Lashon Chalila lecha masis kadavar hazeh. Rashi is dort mefarish tiverter Chalila lecha chulin hu lecha yemru kach hu imunasenu. Earlier in Parshas Vayera, Avram pleads with Hashem. And he says, but the whole story when he wants to destroy Sodom and Amorah, so he says, will you destroy even the righteous with your wicked? So Avram there uses a similar wording as used here. He says, Chalila for you to do such a thing. And Rashi says, Chalila for you, and explains, it would be chulin for you. They will say that this is the craft of Hashem, that he builds things and he destroys things. So that's what Rashi says over there in Parshas Vayera. Now, what's the Rebbe's question? Davin verstehen, we have to understand. Aleph. Parvas in Parshas Vayera, wo steht der Lashon Chalila zum ersten Mal, ist sich Rashi mistabig mit den Abteitchen Chulin hu lecha. Und unsere Parsha bagnugen der sich nicht mit den Sagen Chulin hu lanu, und ist meistens Lashon Genai. Oib Chulin fordert Hasbara, hat Rashi gedarf doch masber sein beim ersten Mal. So the Rebbe asks like this. In Parshas Vayera, where the first time the word Chulin appears, Rashi says, it would be chulin for you. Chalila lashon chulin. Yet in our parsha, Rashi adds an expression of genai, disgrace. Now, if chulin for you requires further explanation, so Rashi should explain it the first time when it appears. And that's the first thing that Rashi says. Rashi says chulin is lashon genai. And in Parshas Vayera, what does Rashi say? Chalila chulin hu lecha. It's it would be chulin for you. So why doesn't Rashi add over there in Parshas Vayera that chulin is a lashon ganai like he does over here? Beis, Nachmer. Furthermore, Rashi is the nit nor meisiv divert lashon ganai nor git oich zu a zweite pirush. Rashi not only adds an expression of disgrace, but he adds a words lashon ganai. Nor a git. Let me start again. Nachmer. Rashi is the nidnar meisiv divert lashon ganai. Rashi adds the words not only it's a disgrace, nor git euch zu a zweiten pirush. He gives a second explanation. The Targum chuli. Parvas is in Parshas Vayera genug der pirush chulin hu lecha, und da is das nicht maßbig und man darf ankommen zu a zweiten pirush. So now the question is like this. Number one, the question is, why does Rashi have to add lashon ganai? If chulin needs explanation, lashon ganai, so Rashi should have said it the first time. Number two, Rashi says over here that not only is the lashon ganai, but he says the Targum. So if in Parshas Vayera, it's already enough to say that Chalila means lashon chulin, so why does he have to bechlal come on over here to the second explanation? So the Rebbe says like this. First, the Rebbe is going to give a beer, al pi pshat, like in Rashi, and then the Rebbe is going to go into Aveda. So the explanation is like this. Their beer and them, the explanation is as follows. In Parshas Vayeda, is there Lashon Chalila, Gezak Gavarin Klapidem Ebershton. Now, in Parshas Vayeda, when the word Chalila is used, it's about Hashem. Was by him is Klal nit shayach der in von Chulin v'choil. Now, in Parshas Vayera, the word Chalila is used about Hashem, who's totally removed from Chulin and any mundane matters. Und der Rebbe genug zu sagen, as asois kadavar hazeh betmiya, is val Chulin hu lecha, und mit dem allein is schon klar, as das is beim Eberstein and Ganzen abgefragt. Now, therefore, saying to do such a thing is Chulin for you, it's already enough. This point alone clarifies that such an action, destroying the righteous or the wicked, would be entirely out of the question for Hashem. So in Parshas Vayeda, we're saying it's about Hashem, that Avram is saying, Chalil l'chol avadacha, chulin hu l'chol, what does the Pasuk say? Rashi says, chulin hu l'chol yem kachu u'menasenu. So in Parshas Vayeda, when it speaks about Hashem, and he uses the lashon of Chalila, so that, Rashi says it's already chulin, because by Hashem, it's not shaykh, the idea of mundane, chayil, chulin. So then what does Rashi say? Rashi says, Asayis kadavar hazeh, chulin u'lecha. It's chulin for you, because now we're talking about Hashem. On unser parsha aber, however, in our parsha, was retzich minegei abnei adam welche farnemen sich mit yom mit chulin, wachende gezachen, by zeis blois chulin hu lanu nit shekein tam maspik zu shel zen masayis kadavar hazeh, von zu nehmen dem gvia hakesev. Warum? Was is azay der Gewalt, Ibn Adam haben getan, azach, was is chulin. Now, in our parsha, concerning people who were involved with chulin, which mundane matters, so concerning them, it would be chulin for us, wouldn't be a reason enough for us, let's say, to steal the silver goblet.
The expression chulin doesn't make a difference by Ibn Adam. So you got to speak the language.
Meaning, if you would say, what would the brother say? Chulin hu lecha, it's nicht heilig. That doesn't, it's nicht heilig zu ganvin. It's von Anasach mentioned, heilig is a mention, was ganvin. It's not, meaning, it's not enough when you speak about the Eberster, and you say the lashon of Chalila. Okay, so the Eberster is not shaykh, and it's the lashon of chulin or not, so one pirish is enough. But by telling, what do you want to say? The brothers are telling Yosef, Chalila masis kadavar hazeh. The what? It's nicht heilig zu ganvin. It's not enough, because varum was azay der Gewalt Ibn Adam haben getan azach was is chulin. What's the big deal if a person did something which is chulin, which is something mundane? The Rebbe muss da Rashi meiser sein as chulin hu la lashon genai. Chulin da is nicht bagrenis zum Teichen von Wochendickigkeit. It says, was as the zach is meguna v'mela abgefrekt. Therefore, here Rashi adds, it would be chulin for us is an expression of disgrace. The term chulin here is not limited to just meaning mundane, rather it also indicates something disgraceful, and therefore it's something which is like out of the question. Now, so that's Gimel. Aber the Pirish is not glatt. The Rebbe says this explanation is not so smooth. Why? Weil wenn is shaykh zu sagen, as chulin hu lanu is a lashon genai. When is it shaykh to say that chulin is a lashon genai? When sedetzich wegen azam mensch, os mitzad zayin meilu chashivus, hat legami nit zu tan mit inyan echel. When do you say expression of lashon genai? Chulin is lashon genai when you're speaking about a person which because of his status, because of his stature and importance, he has no connection with mundane matters. Und lieber wenn batzeichend a gewisse Sach als chulin is das a lashon genai. By him is the zach zayin dik chulin adavar meguna. Now, therefore, when he describes something as chulin, it's obviously an expression of disgrace. Why? Because is das a lashon genai. By him is the zach zayin dik chulin adavar meguna. Why? Because it's obviously an expression of disgrace, since for him this is mundane, it's disgraceful. So we're speaking, when you use the expression of chulin for us, it's an expression of disgrace for the person because of his importance. He has no connection with mundane matters. So when he describes something as chulin, it's obviously an expression of disgrace for him, even though for others it's not. On the contrary, mitaloshin is the zach. Mitaloshin is the zach shelo norch mer vidurch a befershin loshin genai. Heyes as dos bavais as a zach was es nit lefi erke malosei is by him as zoi abgefrekt. Biz as a davar chulin is by him nit weniger genai wie a davar meguna mamish genei v'keitz b'zeh.
Relative. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so just to explain, by using the word chulin, a person expresses his rejection of this behavior far more than when using more direct wording. As this wording indicates that something is unbefitting his stature, something chulin. It's out of the question. So it's no less disgraceful in the eyes than a really disgraceful thing like such as stealing and the like. Now, now, here, Jesus' brothers were trying to negate the claim that they had stolen the goblet, that they're shaykh for Geneva. It's schwer zu sagen, als sie haben es gewollt beweisen mit der Teine Chulun Hulanu. Das ist Toli Tanya, B'delei Tanya. As Geneva is bei sie Mufrach, weil viele Chulun ist bei sie Adavar Meguna. Because again, als sie haben damit gewollt überzeugen, a Goy, Jesus Shliach, und dazu noch a Goy von Eretz Mitzrayim, was Aretz, was bei ihm seinen Divrei Chulun gewiss nicht kein Inyan for Genai. Now, over here, what are we talking about? The brothers were trying to negate the claim that they had stolen the goblet from Yosef. So it's difficult to say what do they want to say? It's Chulun for us, we didn't steal. Why? Because it's like, what's the rebuttal? It's Chulun for us. So, and he uses the expression of makes that which was taught dependent, which was not taught. That's the Lashon of the Gemara. Implying that they wouldn't steal because even chulin matters are considered disgraceful to them. Now, this seems all the more so. They're trying to convince a goy, Jesus shliach, and moreover a goy from Eretz Mitzrayim, which is Ervas, the most immoral land, where chulin matters were definitely not seen as disgraceful. So what are they saying? No, it's chulin for us. It's nishkin hele kazach. It's mundane for us to do this. That doesn't really negate the taina. We badazay, what the chachalpanem mer massen gewen. So ausdrück in die Abgefreckkeit von Geneva nicht durch sagen Chulun nor mit der klare Lashon für Genai. Now, it would seem more befitting for the brothers to express how absurd it would be for them to steal, not by saying it would be Chulun for us, but rather by using clearly more a disgraceful term. The Riber, therefore, bring Rashi then Pirish Atagam as Chalil Lavadocha meint Chas Lavadocha Chas Meisa Kodesh Baruch Hu. For this reason, Rashi brings the Targum's interpretation that Chalila for your servant means Chas, pity on your servant, may Hashem have pity. Sie haben gesagt, Chas v'shalom, as bei Zeh soll sein an ihm für Geneva, und noch mehr, Chas Meisa Kodesh Baruch Hu Yelinu Me'asis Zeis. They wanted to say that Chalila for your servant means pity on us, that Chas v'shalom, God forbid, that we would have any connection with stealing. Moreover, they said that Hashem should have pity on us from doing this. Der Eberster hat auf uns Rachmanos und der Lust nicht as mir soll afil b'sheg nicht shall werden azazach, which means that they said Hashem has mercy upon us and make it impossible for us to slip even accidentally in such a behavior. So now, therefore, since in Tanakh the word Chalila is never translated as pity, so therefore Rashi says, okay, in the Gemara, in the Pasuk it doesn't say that, but in the Gemara it does. Therefore Rashi brings this as a second explanation. When the Pirush Harishon Ve'ikri is Chalila main Chulun Ulanu, and the first explanation is it would be Chulun for us. So basically, before we get to the Yiro, what the Rebbe is saying is like this: in Parshas Vayera, when we say when he uses the expression Chalila, Avram is telling the Ibtur Chalila l'chalasis dover kazeh. That's speaking about Hashem. So about Hashem, you're basically, what are you saying? It's mundane for the Eibishter to do this. Eibishter doesn't have a shaykhs to mundane. So you could use the lashon of chulin, the lashon of chulin. Mashenkein, in our parsha, the brothers are trying to tell Yosef, don't accuse us of stealing because Chalila, it's mundane to steal. That doesn't go ahead and really. This shliach doesn't really care. He's such a grub. He doesn't care. Chalila, you stole? You didn't steal. So therefore Rashi has to say Chalila doesn't only mean Mashn Chulin. They want to say it's lashon genai. It's disgraceful for us to steal. And may Hashem have pity on us that we shouldn't even steal, even b'shegig. And that's why Rashi brings a second explanation. Rashi has to say, you should know that in Teda, Chalila is never lashon of genai. In the Gemara we find it, but not in actual words of Tanakh. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow we'll get into the Ba'aveda of